Professor Hertz, thank you for accepting to do this interview on the fly. Your speech at Agora Forum 21 had many insights. I noted the 3 axes, one of them being, shortly said, go big or go small with a science communication project. What does that mean?
Well, counterintuitively, a lot of funding allows you to hire real professionals, and in fact, in many ways makes your job easier. It seems more ambitious and somehow like you don't dare ask for so much money, but it makes the communication much more effective. Professionals really do know their jobs, and it allows you to sort of apportion work better, and probably also think better about what you finally want to say, what your role is, and what's the role of other people. So if you want to communicate effectively and also have fun while you're doing it, I suggest you try applying for the whole amount that the Agora Forum allows you to get, which is 200,000 francs, which allows for time, allows for a project director. It's really an extraordinary instrument in that respect.
Thank you. A second aspect was about how to anchor a communication project with the community. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, usually as scientists we're used to thinking of ourselves as communicating with the universe, the entire universe. It's a universal activity, science. But communicating means interesting people in what you have to say in a rather sort of material sense. They need to feel like they're gaining something from it, that there's stakes for them, that it's not abstractions, but that it's relevant to their everyday life. So working with local communities, doing co-creation, participatory activities, all of that raises the stakes for the people you're talking with. You're perhaps not making a message that will be relevant to all of Switzerland. You may be, in my case, I did a message that was relevant to the canton of Neuchâtel and couldn't be exported as such, but the message was more powerful because it was locally rooted.
And what about the collaboration with the communication experts?
So I have worked with a scenograph, a dramaturge, publicists, and people who do visual communication, and every time I realize how differently they think than the way I go about thinking. They ask me unusual questions, very practical questions. Have you thought about who we hire when? I need to hire actors. When are we doing this workshop? What are you going to say? What are they going to be able to observe? And that kind of bringing it down to the materiality and organizational aspects of communication. Every time I'm surprised, and every time I'm so thankful that they're there to do that. They know what they're doing. So it's just to keep researchers from thinking they need to reinvent the wheel, get the money to hire people who know how to do that.
Maybe one last question, more personal. Do you have a favorite means of communication when it comes to your research?
No, I'm more of I'm a social scientist, I'm an anthropologist, I like interacting with people. So I very much enjoyed the last project I did, Agora project on participatory theater, and I'll be doing something like that again soon. But film is a wonderful way of communicating also, as are installations and so forth. It really depends on the level of detail you're going to go into, the time you need to get your message across. A single exhibit at a museum is a kind of an allegory of science. You only have a very tenuous relation to a complex message, but it can be very powerful emotionally, sensorially, and so forth. So those are the kinds of things people need to think about beforehand. What do they like seeing? What kinds of thinking do they enjoy besides linear discursive thinking? Do they like to think laterally, through metaphors, through storytelling? Those are the kinds of questions you can, as a researcher, you can ask yourself beforehand. What would I enjoy that's outside of the sort of narrow publications and conferences?
Professor Hertz, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you. Great fun.